Greetings, everyone. Tim Anderson here, aka Renfell, and welcome to the latest episode in the ongoing Project Dramond series, which is all about the tabletop game, point and click adventure game, and book series that my brother, myself, and my wife are working on. And today's update is part three in the classes update for the classes for the tabletop game. There's probably going to be one more of these coming, and those are, I believe, going to be all the classes that I'm putting in for the first draft, which is going to be the version of the game that we play through in like July, August, or August, September, with the playtest group coming up soon. Um, We've got a good chunk of classes in there now, and I may end up adding more towards the end of the year after I've done a play session, but for right now, I've got pretty much everything in there that I want for the moment. I'll be fleshing these out a little bit more as I dive into the intricacies and kind of original spins on some of these more classic races. But be that as it may, that's where we're at today. So um, this is part three. If you've not watched the first two parts, you can go back and do so. Also, if you've never watched any of the Project Dramond stuff and you're sitting here as a new subscriber to this channel going, what the hell is he talking about? Check the playlist here on YouTube. There's like 50 videos now up in the Project Dramond playlist. We've been adding videos since we started this project on March 1st, documenting the process. You can also check Twitter for screenshots and video snippets of the concept art and everything else that's being worked on with the single player game. Today's update, you can find more information in the link below. The very first link is to the Patreon post that is associated with this video. We do updates on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays. This is obviously Tuesday, so welcome to today's update. The first class in today's update is the Hedge Mage, and I previously kind of mention what a hedge mage is. I don't want to spoil everything. That's what the Patreon post is for. But basically, when we look at the two different types of mages we have the um, circle of mages and mages who deal with elemental magic, and they specialize in a very specific branch of magic, and they don't really do anything outside of that. They have some magic that they can use that's generalized, but for the most part, once they hit that specialization at level 4, it's specialized all the way, and they can't cast anything outside of that specialization. A hedge mage, on the other hand, doesn't have a specialization. They can do a whole lot of different things. Now, some of them might um, kind of lean towards a particular style of magic, but they don't actually pick up a specialization along the way. They're kind of like generalized wizards that aren't, or mages, I should say, that are not part of the circle. They're not frowned upon. They just choose not to join the group and the faction. Then we have the ranger and the rogue, and I'd like to think that my version of the ranger is a lot less fantastical. Um, I looked at, for me, the quintessential ranger has always been Aragorn. Um, he is a hunter and a tracker first and foremost. He doesn't cast spells. Um, so in our universe, rangers are not spellcasters, and that's a big shift from people who are used to the tabletop version of rangers, who are typically going to be casting cleric type spells or druid type spells. That is not the case in our world. We're dealing with guys, or not just guys. We're dealing with characters, male and female, who live off the land, and they are primarily versed in woodscrafting. Woodscraftmen. What's the word for that? I don't have the name for that off the top of my head, but they are primarily versed in being good at being out in nature. So good to the bow, good to the sword. They've got some basic martial abilities, but their primary skill set is tracking, hunting, knowing which plants can be used for different types of poultices and potions, and what herbs are good for cooking, what things are poisonous and not poisonous in the wild. That's what rangers are good for in our world, and there's a lot more in the description in the text below. And then rogues. Um, Rogues are fairly simple, but I've I've avoided using the term thief because even though many rogues can be thieves, rogues can also be musicians, rogues can be actors, rogues can be many different professions, and so there's not just one type of rogue. And I'm probably going to be adding some specializations based on if rogues are a part of the um, the Raven Society or not. But we'll get into that later because I haven't dove into subclasses yet too much. And then once we get to that point, we'll be kind of spreading this out a little bit more and saying, okay, so here's a generic rogue, here's a specialized rogue. Typically, most games have some type of assassin, um, as opposed to here's a mechanical thief who's good at picking locks and everything else. But I like the idea of having a subclass, and I haven't added this yet, but I'm thinking this is where my mind is heading as a subclass for the rogue. Is I really like the idea of these kind of specialists who are infiltrators. So they're not really about combat or poison or anything like that. They're more along the lines of they're really skilled at disguises and getting in and getting information as opposed to being martially inclined. So um, we're going to be fleshing the rogue subclasses out a little bit more later on. But for now, that's today's update is the Hedge Mage, Rangers, and Rogues. You can find out more information in the Patreon post below. First link in this description text below. And beyond that, you can check out all the links to all the social media. Join the Discord. Come hang out with us there. Pick up a subscription at Patreon if you want to join in and support what we're building and you want to get behind the scenes access to all the Project Dramond stuff that we're doing. And of course, don't forget to check out the um, Lord of the Rings Online Cooking in Real Life series because I post all of the recipes with behind the scenes photos and everything over on Patreon, available to everyone, whether you're a subscriber or not. So don't forget to check that out as well. And if you haven't already done so, subscribe to this channel, hit the bell icon, follow along with what we're doing, and I will see everybody in the next update. Project Dramond update on Thursday, which will be, I think, the next background group is what we're doing, which I believe is the Raven Syndicate. Um, we'll see. Anyway, stick around, stay tuned. See you next time.